this video, I want to go over some tips, tricks, and things you may not know about Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies. Now, here's the thing. Whether you're in a squad or playing solos, there's many different mechanics, especially this time around for this year's zombies, that have been brought to the table. So let's get into number one. First and foremost, at the beginning of your match, you're going to want to turn on the Rampage inhibitor. I know this is going to make the zombies a little bit more difficult to kill, but they are going to make them a lot faster. If you guys notice, up to about round 8, zombies do not necessarily run. They go from a slow walk to a slow jog to then running and sprinting towards you. If you put on the Rampage inhibitor straight away, it's going to make the early rounds a lot faster and a lot easier for you. Name of the game here is to get as many points as you can, get these early rounds to be banged out. I highly recommend you guys using it all the way up to rounds 5 to 8, and then you can turn it off. There is no point in keeping it on for the duration of the game. You don't get extra points. Your points will eventually cap out, and it just makes it a lot more difficult for you. This is really meant to just speed up the early stages of the game and to really make the game brutal for yourself if you're a sick bastard. Next up, since we're talking about rounds, if you want to maximize your XP across the board with zombies, this year's mechanic when it comes to the XP system, go upwards to round 21, 22. That is when your XP is going to start falling off. So I recommend if you're playing solos or with your friends and you're wanting to maximize the amount of XP you're getting, whether you're farming solo or with a squad and you're just trying to get camos, get XP in general to hit those prestiges, I recommend you going anywhere from round 21 to 25 and then exfilling immediately, because anything after that, you're going to start getting a soft cap and the XP that you're going to gain is going to diminish by quite a bit. Now, this may be one of the biggest tips on this video. Now, do not open every single door or pathway. You want to keep some of these pathways closed off. I like to keep the top of the roof where the Wonder Fizz spawns. Keep in mind the Wonder Fizz spawns after round 50 on all maps, so don't worry about opening every door in order to get your perks that you want, because once round 50 has happened, the Dur Wonder Fizz machine will spawn and you'll be able to buy all perks. And when you're up here on the rooftop in Liberty Falls, I recommend you keeping these back two areas locked off. This gives you the ability to back up into these corners. You're by the arsenal machine and you can really train zombies up here and hit the zip lines back to spawn, zip lines back to the cemetery, whatever it may be. So don't open every door and every pathway. Now, one of the biggest things you're always going to want to run on your weapon, as we know, pack punching your weapon is great. I did play a lot of squad fills and a lot of people said their damage was dropping off. I reminded them to upgrade the tier of their weapon, and we were around 20, around 30, 40, whatever it may be, and a lot of people kept forgetting about upgrading the rarity of their weapon, so they kept switching weapons or buying weapons at the mystery box, which can be good early game if you get a green or a blue early on, but I highly recommend you running a suppressor on your weapons. Run the first suppressor for every gun category. This is going to give you a higher chance of salvage, and let me tell you, this chance is very, very high. Another great way to earn salvage at an accelerated rate is using trap. When you kill groups of zombies in traps, you do have a higher chance of salvage dropping, and from my experience, a lot of salvage drops from a huge group. Whether you use a decoy, a monkey bomb, or you just train them into the trap, there's many different ones throughout the map. When using trap, a lot of salvage is going to spawn, so I highly recommend put a suppressor on your weapon and use traps frequently. Yes, they're going to be upwards from 15 to 2,000 depending on the round you're on, but they do come in handy when you really need a lot of salvage to get your score streaks. And when we're talking about score streaks and kill streaks, I like to call them score streaks because that's what I use in multiplayer. I go based off of score. I highly recommend you using as many as you can, because guys, whether it's your lethals, your tacticals, or kill streaks across the board, a lot of these are going to spawn from the manglers and different zombies. Don't be afraid to pick up different ones. If you normally run a decoy and a semtech and you see a concussion grenade or you see a Molotov cocktail, just pick it up and use it, because you can always find different lethals and tacticals. And kill streaks, use them as often as you can. No matter what kill streak you're using, once activated, the zombies will no longer target you, so don't worry if you're in a sticky situation. Pop that RCXD, the cruise missile, the mutant injection, whatever it may be, because then the zombies will kind of get off your back and you can utilize a kill streak more often than not. Another big thing that I see a lot, and I can't stress it enough, is buy armor. Buy armor as frequently as possible. Getting the tier 3 armor costs quite a bit of essence. It's about 10k. So I highly recommend, whether you're on Terminus or Liberty Falls, take the path that gets you closest to the first armor unlock. A tier 2 armor will get you a long ways throughout the rounds, focusing on making that one of your top priorities. Now, when it comes to perks, the ones that I think you should always be running, depending on what kind of weapons you use, is you're gonna want to use Juggernog. Obviously, you want more health. Next one would be Stamina Up. then I would go for speed cola. But prioritize getting Juggernog and stamina up, because in the end, you're going to want more health and you're going to want more mobility. Now, speaking of mobility, this year's Call of Duty, I think it's absolutely fantastic. As you guys know, we have a primary, we have a secondary. There is no third gun here. There is no mule kick. But no matter what, you are always going to have a melee weapon that you can pull out. If you hold the button down that activates your melee, you will pull out the melee weapon that you have equipped, whether that be the baseball bat or the combat knife. Prioritize whipping this out as much as possible, because you're going to have a lot more mobility, and with this year's Omni movement, the mobility is absolutely insane. So not only is your running speed going to improve, but your mobility, whether that's vaulting, jumping, diving, across the board, is going to improve if you don't have a weapon out and you're carrying a knife. This is one of the biggest settings that I would change, that I think is such a good quality of life they have this year. This is something you're really going to want to change, whether you play multiplayer, zombies, Warzone, everything across the board. In my opinion, go to settings, go to key bindings, or whatever it may be for you. You're going to go to combat. If we go down to combat advanced setting, you're going to look down here at the bottom, manual fire behavior. You see how standardly it's on press. So choose to press the fire button each time to shoot a round, or to hold the button down to shoot continuously. So this is for semi-auto weaponry. So if you're using a pistol, you're using a sniper, or you're using a marksman rifle, for zombies specifically, so you don't have to keep mashing the trigger button or mash your mouse button. I hope any of these tips were helpful for you. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like on it, subscribe. We're going to be banging out zombies. We're going to be banging out everything Call of Duty. Call of Duty, you know, to me, Black Ops 6 really put Call of Duty back on the top for me. I've always been a heavy fan of Call of Duty, but you know, this year's Call of Duty, I think they did a really good job across the board. I'm excited for Warzone's launch. Let me know down in the comments below, what is your favorite thing about zombies? My favorite thing has to be dying at exfil. I appreciate every single one of you guys, and as always, stay happy, stay hyped, and have a beautiful day.